Okay, our beloveds, so here we are on another day, but today it is the morning and not the evening. Our another is feeling a massive shift within her energy body, one that is feisty and playful, caustic and nice at the same time. It is truly a blend or merging of the duality. Before she was clearly one or the other, but today she is both, and she's not certain how she feels about it, nor is she clear on what is going on. So we shall explain to you all, humanity, what you can expect to experience and hopefully to integrate soon as well. So here it goes. Your past life and lives have consisted of duality, meaning, as we have expressed, you experienced life as the victim or as the victimizer, and in some instances, both. And what we mean by both is that if you were the victim, for example, in a domestic relationship experience, but you victimized your own children because of how abuse gets passed down to the next generation, right? So you played both roles. No judgment here, just an explanation of what it looks like. But the point is, as a whole, you generally expressed it one way or the other. And we would call it an on-off switch. So if you were both roles, you would toggle between the two polar opposite mindsets. It's very difficult for us to energetically express what we're trying to our another, because it is a nuanced message that we wish to share today. But just allow us to say you were one or the other. Think of a train track that splits to the left or to the right and then merges back up at some point in the future. So now, here is where you, humanity, find yourselves now. It is going to be an integration for those of you who are ready, meaning that you can reside in both spaces at the same time. Now, what is the importance of this transformation? In the past, there was such a focus on being good and nice, polite and respectful, well-behaved, and knowing your place. And what if we tell you that that is not the way that your soul desires to live any longer? It never really did, but you understand. And here you are now, feeling playful and caustic, emotional yet centered and calm, all within the same space. It is an unusual experience to feel when you have been taught not to be this way, right? And some of you have been taught to be caustic but not nice. So to be both, to be loving and compassionate, yet snarky in the same energetic imprint, how is that possible? Now, our another is feeling a very strong pull between these two polar points, if you will. And when we say polar, we mean the North Pole and the South Pole. And the difference between these two vibrations is a lot for her to bear, because she doesn't care for being caustic at all yet. She is learning to no longer judge herself and just allow her emotions from current hurts to simply be, to express themselves. No judgment, no criticism of self for being kind of snarky, because it just simply is her natural vibration today. So now, why do we share this with you when we're saying you're supposed to move towards being love? Well, when a pendulum swings, and let's not call it a pendulum like on a grandfather clock, but a pendulum for divination, right? When you hold a pendulum, oftentimes it will swing in a clockwise or a counterclockwise fashion, right? And it is the energy moving, your intentions, your energetic vibration. It is an expression of what is flowing through you. So, for example, when our mother initially was infusing her essential oil blends with the healing energies of Archangel Michael, she would hold the pendulum above the oil, and we would swing it in circular fashion, generally in the clockwise direction, to just infuse it with what we would call positive rotations, right? And when the energy had flowed through her body fully and had infused the oil fully, the pendulum would cease moving. The spiral motion would get smaller and smaller until the pendulum hung in a singular point straight down. So now that is exactly what our another's energy body is expressing today, that pendulum swing in a clockwise and sometimes counterclockwise fashion. Sometimes it goes in the counterclockwise fashion to unwind some past energies, to, undo them, untie them, and then we go back into the clockwise direction to release what needs to be released so that it can integrate and infuse her energy body with where she is intended to go. So, we are sharing this with you all today because as the coming months unfold, expect that your emotional energy body will have similar expressions of gyrations. Many of you will say, oh, it is Mercury retrograde. Others will say, I am not in flow or alignment with loving feelings. Others will just simply be cranky and irritable and give it no thought because it is not part of their mind's construct. But for those of you who are listening or who are otherwise in tune with the shift from the old to the new, just know that this is what integration looks like. To move into one energy body which consists of duality finally. And you need to really feel the various emotions of duality. So let us give you a different example, okay? Let us pretend that you are making a recipe with a lot of varying ingredients. Some salty, some sweet, some sour, some savory, right? Some maybe nasty tasting to some of you, such as a fish sauce, right? or lemon juice for those who don't like that, or vinegar for those who don't like that. The point that we are getting at is, let us pretend that as you are making this very rich and complex dish, that you have to, with your finger, taste each ingredient and have that sensation on the tip or somewhere else on your tongue, depending upon where your taste buds we're trying to give Kadi the vibration, and she's really struggling. She's only seeing the visual of the various parts of the tongue. But where those flavors are noticed or attached to, the point being that as you taste each individual ingredient, your body is going to go through gyrations, because not only of the individual taste, but also the contrast between each of these unique sensations. And so as you begin to integrate these varying emotions that are all part of who you are, right? The murderous human being who is capable of killing someone either in self-defense or out of incredible rage or anger, right? As well as the person who can pick up a butterfly or a snail to move it to a safe space so that traffic, people, animals, whatever the danger is, cannot harm this precious, delicate, angelic being, as well as anywhere in between. Those are the realities, the energies that each and every one of you carry within your energetic imprint. And to deny that this is really there is to deny that you are a human being. Mother Teresa could have killed somebody under the right circumstances, and Hitler did show compassion and empathy for those for whom he cared. He was a vegan, for goodness sake, right? It is the contrast that we are wishing to share right now with you all. To move out of judgment that I am being something other than what I wish to be, and to simply let it flow through. And you will find as you move through this integration, but we want to find a better word because for many of you it just holds no meaning. As you adopt an understanding and appreciation that each of these aspects is literally a part of who you have always been, it will help you to understand more of who you really are now without any judgment. And as you move away from the judgment and just accept these dualities that exist and fight within you, like two dogs, right, in a burlap sack that are fighting for survival or whatever, right? It is simply an understanding of your nature. And as you accept, I am a killer as well as a savior within this same body, you can harmonize with, this is how I was created, and I am the master of how I choose to respond or react in any particular circumstance. But is not a victim. It is not a victim mindset, right? But instead one of acknowledging, I am a complex human being, and I honor the growth within myself. And as you integrate these varying aspects of you, you will find that your pendulum eventually finds its resting point in the spot or point of oneness. And oneness is where you simply are, with no judgment, no accolades, no expectations of anything other than the great I am. Nothing will pull you from your center because it is all just. And just means there's no judgment. It is all just the great I am. And when you get into that space of silence, you will delve into the greater answers of the universe because there is stillness. And the answers lie not in the words nor in the actions, but simply in the silence between those words and the actions. So, our another at least has a little comfort right now in her heart because it makes her feel less judgmental about herself, and she can finally now feel that vibration of acceptance of it is okay to feel caustic today, to feel a little snarky and petty and silly and loving at the same time. It is her journey to now finally integrate her varying attributes within herself and to find that point of stillness that has eluded her for this entire lifetime and many prior to this. So for those of you who are in tune with your own energy body and are interested in understanding the gyrations right now, which will last for approximately another 2 months at a minimum, just know that this is what the integration looks like. It is the death of the old. It is the rising of the phoenix from the ashes. But it must die before, and it can only die by integrating into you, to becoming whole. It is a very nuanced understanding that to die is not to die. It is really to be reborn into what it was initially and intentionally designed to be anyway. It is complex. And if you don't understand this, or you otherwise just simply have this desire, listen to this message again and again, as it is the vibration within the message and not the message itself wherein the magic lies. It is within the silence between the words and not the words themselves that contribute and assist in the healing of the universe. And so it is. Namaste.